In Fairfield County, something new comes across my desk every day. Crimes are committed, cases are solved, and a community is made safe by the hardworking employees of the Fairfield County Sheriff's Office.
Welcome to This Week with Sheriff Dave Phelan. We're carried on Lancaster, Ohio TV. We're also carried by a number of radio affiliates here in Lancaster. Do appreciate you, the viewers and listeners that join us each and every week. And JT Burcham and the students here do a great job, putting this program together and taping the program. Back for the second week is Sgt Jared Collins. Good to see you.
Hey, thanks for having me back, Sheriff.
And our Detective Bureau Commander. Lots of stuff going on. And one thing that we talked about before airtime is you've been instrumental in the SWAT team within the Fairfield County Sheriff's Office. How long has there been a SWAT team?
We've been in operation since 1992, so we're probably the oldest continuous SWAT team in the county and kind of in the region until you get up towards Columbus and Franklin County.
And so one thing that makes our SWAT team unique in many ways is it's not like we have a SWAT team that waits to get called, right? Or they're at a certain location. How's our team set up?
Well, our team is a part-time or collateral team. So every one of our SWAT officers has a primary duty, whether it's in the jail, working as a jailer, patrol, a detective. Every one of our divisions within the Sheriff's Office we are represented in, which has added benefits to the citizens of Fairfield County in the fact that at any given time on a patrol shift, I've got 2 or 3 SWAT officers out there that are those first responders to different types of events. We also, for any incidents that happen in the jail, we usually have a couple guys that are SWAT officers that work the jail that can handle different events or at least get those things started.
Right.
So it's we have a SWAT footprint pretty much everywhere in the county 24 hours a day.
And it's not only the Fairfield County Sheriff's Office now, is it? You have officers from different agencies.
Right. We're a multi-jurisdictional SWAT team. We cover the entire county. We have officers from now Fairfield Medical Center. Pickerington Police Department has a large contingent on the team. Our SWAT medics are from the Violet Township Fire Department. And we even have a New Lex officer that's on our team.
So what would be some of the situations where we would actually activate the SWAT team?
It's we've expanded our role over the years. The traditional hostage, barricade, active shooter type thing are, of course, standard staples in our community. But we add in extreme high risk warrants, such as narcotics warrants or things of that nature. I think just in the last 3 or 4 weeks, we've done several narcotics or major criminal case type search warrants. And those are, things that there is an inherent high risk in, but we go a step further and do a risk assessment matrix that tells us when we should use a SWAT team as opposed to when you just have a handful of detectives go knock on the door and serve the warrant.
And then how important is the training aspect of this?
The training's huge, especially nowadays where our expanded missions where we're doing all these different tasks. We train essentially once a month and then have an additional small block that's kind of a catch-up or an admin training. So it just, the fact that it's a team atmosphere, these guys have to get together and train to be as good as they are.
And you've used old buildings and houses and factories and things to go in? And
pretty much any buildings we can get our hands on, we'll train in. And we still have a staple of buildings we go back to over and over. And as well as in our own headquarters, we have mock houses set up inside.
So if a deputy, if a member of another agency would want to become a SWAT member, how does the selection process work?
Well, we hold selection once a year,
Okay.
whether we have spots available or not, so that we'll have a list to work off of. Generally, the sponsoring agency or the sheriff's office, their officers will apply to us. They'll be accepted. Generally, we'll allow anyone to try out at the sheriff's office that's not on a probationary status.
Okay.
Selection day starts with a medical exam from our medics, and that's just to ensure that someone can handle the physical rigors that we're going to put them through. Then the next 8 hours are pretty rough. It really is. We start out with our physical testing batteries, which is a mile run to start with, 1 minute push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups. We have several different aerobic exercises we put them through, like dragging and flipping tires and things like that. This is number one, to evaluate their physical condition, to see if they have the physical ability to do the job. The second thing is to start to throw some of that stress on them, to see if they can handle that maintained stress throughout the entire day. You know, there's no limit to what the SWAT officers will encounter on the street. I mean, these guys may have to work a 24-hour type thing. They may have to work in extremely bad, weather conditions, rough physical conditions. So there's no one we can call for help. So they have to have that ability to do this stuff.
And what about proficiency with a firearm?
We do that. We take them to the range. They have to score in the 90th percentile of what is required by the state to even advance that point. We put a lot of timed exercises on the range at them to see, if under that type of stress, if they can perform well. We also do a reality-based type combat course where we put them into one of our training houses, and they have to make shoot, don't shoot situations. They have to make physical hands-on use of force type situations, and they have to show their ability to work within a team.
Yeah. And the other thing that just came to mind is, certainly as we talked about last week about some of the shootings we've seen, school shootings and those things, and you've been involved in the training for many, many years. It would seem to me that today it's paramount for not only the SWAT team, but all the first responders to understand how to respond and what to do in case there is some kind of an active shooter, whether it's at the mall, a school, a business, or whatever.
Absolutely. Yearly, every single Fairfield County Sheriff's Office deputy receives active shooter training, where we are essentially working them through the single officer responses that are required in today's day and age to mitigate these situations. That added to the fact that on every single shift we have SWAT officers out there. These officers have that added heavy equipment with them, the protection, the heavier weapons, that stuff is out there 24 hours a day in Fairfield County. We always have that group of SWAT officers that are going to take control and take command of any volatile situation we have like that.
And how many SWAT members do we have?
We have 28 total.
Wow. And on a given situation, how many would you need? And I know it would depend on how big the situation was. But what would be an average number of SWAT deputies it take to contain a scene?
To contain a normal residential house for a search warrant or a barricaded individual, you're talking at least 16 to 18 to do it and do it right.
Right.
Because we like to be able to do our entire job. In other words, having untrained patrol officers on an inner perimeter or untrained detectives on an inner perimeter is probably not always the best case scenario. We like to have our guys that are trained, that know exactly what's going to happen before it happens.
Right, right. Okay, good, really good stuff. Detective Bureau, lots of stuff going on. Seeing any trends or anything that comes to mind?
You know, we haven't really hit the warm weather upticks yet because we haven't gotten the warm weather. So, you know, we're prepping and getting ready for the spring burglaries and things like that. We're just tying up a few loose ends on some major cases we've had in the past, and generally everything else just kind of rolls in every day. So we look at it and stay moving on everything.
The term cold case, we hear that, we hear it on television, we hear it TV programs. At what point and what determines when a case is a cold case?
You know, you hear a lot of different opinions on that. I think when there is no fresh information left to follow up on.
Okay.
So we are looking at a couple of our cases right now. We're still actively working the workable parts, but we're getting close.
Okay, on a lot of different older cases.
We are.
And again, I think that sometimes what resurrects some of these old cases is maybe somebody comes forward, somebody tells somebody in prison about what they did, and then it filters back to us in a somewhat different perspective.
Right, and we make it, you know, customary to periodically, about every 6 months, pull these cases back out, dust them off, do a full case review where we're kind of going back through over and over the same material in some cases, but just to make sure we didn't miss anything.
Just have about a minute and a half left. How difficult has it made it with the shows, the shows like Dateline, 48 Hours? They're entertaining shows. I watch some of those programs, but I was watching one the other night, and they really were going over pretty much what we could get from a cell phone and how the towers worked and those kind of things. How problematic has that been for law enforcement as far as letting criminals know how we investigate crimes?
We definitely have better educated criminals today than we ever have had.
Yeah.
It really, to say that sometimes we only catch the stupid ones is not an overstatement. But every day, for everything they learn, we're developing new technology and new investigative practices. So we'll hopefully always stay at least one step or a half a step ahead of the bad guys.
Yeah. We're just about out of time. Sgt Jared Collins, the Fairfield County Sheriff's Office, our Detective Bureau Commander, does a terrific job over there. And what a great couple shows. I mean, I think we've really explored a lot of good stuff, and I think our listeners and viewers have gotten a lot of good information. Appreciate you taking time out of your schedule. Well, the clock on the wall says we're just about out of time. Again, I want to thank Fairfield Christian Academy, the students here where this program is taped. Certainly you, the viewers and listeners, our radio affiliates, and LancasterOhio.tv and beyond that gets this program out to the public, and we're appreciative of all your nice comments. Till next week, same time, same place, buckle up, and God bless.